Welcome to Series 2 of The Core with Nathan Fowkes, hosted by Chiu. Nathan Fowkes has been one of the top concept artists in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. His credits include The Prince of Egypt, How to Train Your Dragon, and Wonder Park. In this mini-series, Nathan will get to the core of concepts and ideas that he teaches in his schoolism classes. We hope you enjoy it.
Hey Nathan, thank you so much for your time. I want to ask you about color and light and specifically emotions. Okay, so I'm sure there are typical colors that one might go to for certain emotions or symbolism, but as we know, you can express many things in many different ways with many different colors. I want to ask, are there any guidelines that we can give people for how to use color to elicit specific emotional responses?
You know, the good news about this one is there's so much in art and concept art, entertainment art that's really, really hard. And luckily, this one is easy in concept, I think. Hard to put into practice, but in concept. So let me throw something out. I read something. I don't know. People might smile at. I was reading a scientific journal, and I was really interested in this article because it was about how people respond to color, and actually what it was specifically about. It was about pills. You take a pill, you make a pill red, and people think it's going to have an effect. The placebo. I think most people are familiar with the placebo idea. You think something's going to happen, and so your mind manufactures it, whether it exists or not. So people take a red pill that doesn't really do anything, but some people say, "Oh, I feel energy from it," or a yellow pill, "I feel more awake." You give them a blue pill that does absolutely nothing, but you have an actor pretend to be a doctor. This blue pill will make you drowsy, but we want to confirm that effect and let us know. They take the blue pill, and sure enough, it's a placebo. It has nothing in it that would make you feel drowsy, but it was blue, and a doctor told you it was going to make you feel drowsy, so you take it and you feel drowsy. And that is a known quantifiable effect. I think it's something like 45% of people, and smart people, will say, "Oh yeah, I did feel the effect, even though it was manufactured by them. It was not the pill." So it made an aside, this article, it was pretty uniform. The reds, the yellows, energy, awake; the blues, calm, sleepiness. But they got one anomaly that was interesting, because they did this extensive study all over the world in different countries, and across the board, the blue pill thing, people sleepy, except for Italian men, did not get that effect. And they were half joking and half serious. The only thing they could come up with at that time, apologies to all my Italian friends, I don't follow Italian sports, but the Italian football team, like the team, was blue. Their color was blue. And I don't know if they were joking or serious, but they actually made that wonder if that was actually the reason. They associated blue with something action-packed, and so had something different. So you are absolutely right. Context can change things so much, but each of us inherently, we respond in circumstances. People, we all have a common biology. All of us, we have cultural differences, different references, but I think at the base, there is a common biology where warm, in common context means one thing, and cool in common context mean another thing. And it'll be fairly uniform. And especially in the modern age, people all over the world see the same movies, the same TV shows, the same images, the same media. And so the media technology has made the landscape even more uniform in how people respond to color. So all of that to say, trust your instinct. If it feels exciting to you, it's probably going to feel exciting across the board, or vice versa with something a little bit more quiet. So let me give a specific example, because that's kind of a generalization. Maybe this is something we can hang our hat on a little bit more. People can walk away with something to use. I was working on the recent show Wonder Park from Paramount. I got to do the color script for that show. I got to do much of the color script design, and there was one particular sequence I was in charge of, and it was a difficult sequence. The movie does have a tragedy. It serves a purpose because it launches the main character to have this unusual and incredible experience. So I had to set up the tragedy. And it starts with, I promise this is no spoiler, but there's a mother and a daughter and a family with good times. And the times the mother gets sick. This happens at the beginning of the show, so I'm not ruining it for anyone. But the mother gets sick. And so we have a montage where things are great and the audience has to feel great. But then things start to change and there are clues that something's wrong. And then things are clearly wrong. So what I did was, in the beginning, I thought about what are the local colors, meaning the colors of the objects, not the color of the light, but the color of the objects. I had the people wearing bright clothing. I had colorful objects that have some excitement to them. And I leaned towards the design of local color with fairly standard lighting. And then as things started to change, I made the scenes atmospheric and theatrical, meaning it became more about the light and less about the local color. And so the light started to become washed out to kind of give more of a brooding mood. It started to wash out those local colors. Things started to change. And then I started using cold light instead of warmer sunlight or ambient light, and had the local colors where I could redesign the local colors, had the local color design change towards a brooding, moodier, saddening palette. Because in the same way that the musical score of a movie is meant to guide the emotions of the audience through the ups and the downs of the story, the color design and the lighting design has to do exactly the same thing. And so that's one example of a sequence where we have to start the audience somewhere and take them somewhere completely different using color and light design to do it.
That's a really great challenge. I think I might take you up on that. And everybody, I think that would be a really great idea. You know, when you're talking about certain colors representing certain things to certain cultures, automatically kind of thought of how in a lot of Asian countries, white is worn for death, you know, for funerals, as opposed to black in North America, and then red for weddings and things like that, or very colorful colors for funerals. You know, it would be great for everybody to try and kind of almost handicap themselves to using colors that they wouldn't necessarily relate to certain emotions or to elicit certain emotional responses, and then try to work with that and change it into, just like you were saying, all these very colorful base colors, and still try to make it into something kind of eerie or something non-typical.
Yeah, and I remember going back to the foundation of my career, my first big project, The Prince of Egypt, you know, way back at DreamWorks. I remember, you know, there are the plagues of Egypt, and the final plague was horrific. It was death, you know. Oh my gosh, and dealing with a very heavy subject in an animated movie. And I remember the director very clearly saying, you know, I don't want this sequence to feel triumphant. You know, the Egyptians are evil and they needed to be smitten. He said, I want it to feel like a great tragedy. It shouldn't have had to happen. And so we sucked the color out of it and let it have that desaturated feel. And then Paul is saying, our leader showed up with this painting. Instead of being a dark painting, it was a light painting and a white painting. And there was a tragic moment and a shroud, a character who had not survived, shrouded in white with light streaming into the scene. And like you said, you know, we might have an instinct, well, you know, white is purity or goodness or something like that. I think people feel that with objects, like maybe there's a white vase and it feels pure and clean. But when it's globally used and an entire scene takes on that whiteness, it becomes ashen. And just like you said, it was so the sequence was called Death of the Firstborn. And it was unexpected, and it was right in the vein of how do you make these difficult choices to bring across a compelling idea to the audience.
Fantastic. And if anybody wants to learn even more after doing our little challenge here, I definitely recommend Nathan Fowkes' course, Designing Color and Light with Nathan Fowkes on Schoolism.